Okay, one of the other workshop tasks you'll have to do is either change a universal joint from a prop shaft or a CV boot from a drive shaft. I'll show you now how to change a universal joint on a prop shaft. First thing you've got to do is take the prop shaft off the vehicle, mount it in the vise, and then you'll see there's 4 circlips holding the universal joint into the prop shaft. So we take out the 4 circlips first of all. So mount the prop shaft in the vise, get the circuit pliers on, possibly be quite tight circlips, so it helps to have a wee screwdriver with you. So get the 4 circlips out of the universal joint, and then we'll take it out of the vise and take the joint out. And to remove the joint from the shaft, close the vise over a bit, and then we rest this part on the yokes of the prop shaft onto the vise jaws, and then pull it on to almost the end, and using a copper hammer carefully hit this bit of the shaft, not in here around where the cups are, in case we damage it. As we do that, the cups come out of the shaft. Do it on either side. Pull the cups up. Like so. And that will let us take one bit of the shaft off. And then we do the same the other part. Well, this time we can rest the part of the shaft, the universal joint, sorry, in the vise, and gently hit the prop shaft here. We can pull the cup up and off. And we're doing the same on the other side. Cup off. That allows us to remove the joint from the shaft. So we've got the shaft like this. We'll clean that up, and then we can fit the new joint to the shaft. Okay, once we've cleaned up the prop shaft, we can get a new joint, take it out of the packet, take the caps off the new joint, then we stick a new joint on the bench and we put in one cap at a time. Press in the first cap so far, then we can mount the universal joint into the other space and push it into the cap we've just entered. We've got to take great care here we don't knock one of the needle roller bearings into the bottom of the shaft, into the bottom of the cup, because when we press it on we're liable to push a bearing through the end of the cap. So we push it in flush with the shaft, then we use a nut of more or less the same size as the cap to push it through slightly further. You want to push it through slightly further than you require. This allows you to enter the other cap and make sure the universal joint is mounted in the bearings. Of both sides. I'll just push this in flush. And what I'll do now is put my circlip back in the first one. So put the circlip into the groove. Then we can push the joint back through until it stops against the circlip. Shoe the nuts in the middle, or as close to the middle as you can get it. Push it through far enough so the joint hits the circlip on this side and it allows room for the circlip to go back in here. So now we'll mount the circlip in here. Then small end of the prop shaft, small yoke, mount one of the cups in there, and we can start to push it in the vise, not too far though. We're now going to enter that into the universal joint here. And make sure it seats into the bearings. And we're going to try and push it in. Again, because the end of the shaft's not flat here, you've got to push it in 2 or 3 different places. You don't want to end up bending the yokes in. So if you do that, you won't get the circlip fitted. And use our nut to push it home. Just go slightly further in than you need to. Into the circlip in here now. Finally we push the last cup into place. And push it home in the vise. Then the last circle back in. And just check the joint is working correctly. And this one here has a grease nipple in it to lubricate the joint. So we'll put the new grease nipple in. Some of them are sealed for life, they don't have a grease nipple, but this one does. Then you could put a shot of grease in that with a grease gun, and that's the job finished. Ready for the prop shaft to go back onto the vehicle.